Okay. Hey guys, welcome back to Small Talk, small conversations with huge impact. My name is Alec Cuenca and I'm your host. And before anything else, if this is your first time, then welcome to the show. If you like this episode, then go ahead and share this with your friends or go ahead and listen to the other episodes because they have a lot of amazing insights that you can learn from. And if you are an avid listener of the podcast, welcome back to the show. I'm so excited to see you here. I I really applaud you for showing up just by listening to the podcast, just by you trying to find that idea, that concept that could potentially change your life means so much for you, for yourself, and for the people around you. And so I am so happy that to see you guys still investing in self improvement. And I have a very, very special gift to you guys. I am gifting you with this very special episode. And today's episode, again, we have a guest. I know you guys love this, guest, the podcast episode, some of the best minds here in the Philippines. Hopefully, we could get inspiration and insights on how we could be better ourselves. And so our guest for today is a motivational speaker. He has done over 2,000 talks in over a decade of public speaking experience. He is a best-selling author of the book Unique: Understanding Others by Understanding You, and Unique Youth as well. He has a desire to help others achieve their fullest potential. He's a serial entrepreneur. He's also a consultant to companies, nonprofit organizations, and educational institutions. And he is also a host of the podcast, The Unique Life by Jason Law. So let's all welcome to the show Mr. Jason Law. Mr. Jason, welcome to the show.
Hey, Alec. Thank you for having me. I'm a fan of your show. Great job topping the ranks and just amazing what you are doing and inspiring people. Keep it up. And I'm
Th-
happy to be here.
Thank you. That means a lot coming from the people who have been doing this for quite some time now. Hearing those words, it just really uplifts my spirits and motivates me to do more of these stuff. And I'm so happy right now to talk with you because as I've heard your story, it's kind of similar of the path that I'm trying to pursue. I also wanted to become a motivational speaker. And being parang ano lang siya, title, it's just a title, motivational speaker, but you've been doing this for over a decade. You have been publicly speaking and you have done 2,000 talks. But I know that hindi naman, everyone, nagsisimula tayo sa isang talk, sa dalawang talk, sa tatlo. So could you tell us the story of how it all started for you, this public speaking or motivational speaker career?
When I started, it was really interesting because I had no intention of being a speaker. I was just listening to, I was part of a direct selling company and we would invite speakers. And one speaker we invited back then was Francis Kong. Of course, everyone knows who Francis Kong is. It was in Caliraya. I was 21 years old. And for some strange reason, while he was speaking, I heard this whisper in my, not audibly, but in my heart, that this is what you are born to do. I have no idea. And while he was speaking, I was teary eyed. And even then, I didn't want to speak because I was an introvert. I'm very shy. But they kept putting me on the stage because in sales, we have to reach the younger audience. And I was the youngest in our group. So I was really bad, really, really bad. And eventually, when I started doing it and doing it and doing it, I became a little bit better, a little bit better. And before you know it, this is now what I have been doing. But it's a difficult path. That's why one of my goals now is to empower the next generation speakers. Because today we have more tools, but it's also more difficult. Nakakatuwa lang yung journey. Kumbaga may mga tao who helped me also, and that's my intention now of doing the same.
So So yeah, it becomes like a pay it forward scheme. And I love how you mentioned Francis Kong, because the reason why I also went into this path, or alam mo yun, kahit na medyo naligaw ako, nag-engineering pa ako, pero back in high school, when I saw Mr. Francis Kong speak for the first time, I thought that's who I want to be. Pero it doesn't. Life happens. Hindi naman lahat ng mga gusto natin nakukuha natin agad. So, I went to engineering, nag-aaral ako, tapos biglang nawala na yung spark, nawala na yung idea or yung pangarap na yun. But then, when I started content creation, lumabas ulit yun, and now I'm doing this. And I could, speak for a fact na kahit na ito yung gusto mo, parang mahihirapan ka pa rin. Although medyo na-enjoy ko yung trial, yung magkakamali ka, tapos ayusin mo yung sarili mo. But for your story, you were kind of forced into it. You were kind
Yeah.
of forced into public speaking. So, how did you develop the skills in public speaking? Kung hindi mo naman pala siya like, okay, I would really want to do this. How did you develop that?
There's a saying, and it's interesting because they would say that you have to follow your passion, not your, or rather your purpose, not your passion. And I recently had the talk for a BPO, and I told them that that's not true. You have to follow both at the same time, but it's a matter of sequence. I remember, if you're familiar with Shangri-La Mall, Shangri-La Hotel, di ba meron dun yung circle? So, since isa ko sa mga presenters, I would siguro make mga 5 to 8 rounds dun sa circle, thinking of an excuse to tell the organizers that I wouldn't be able to make it to the event. Tatlo yan eh. Meron yan product, may ano yung business, and then the closing. So I would usually have the product or the income generating part. But every time na nag-iisip ako ng excuse, I would always go there and I would always speak. And especially for young people, you should not follow your passion first, because passion is not something na parang mystical. It's not mystical. It's not ambiguous. But you'd able to form your passion once you follow your hard work first. So once you follow your hard work, then the passion will come as you become better and better in what you do, because we are passionate in things that we are good at. It's not a hobby anymore, but something that you can turn into what you love and earn from it. So ganun yung naging journey ko, no. I kept on speaking. Actually, through God's grace, I think now I have exceeded more than 3,000 already na mga talks. Pero
Wow.
dami doon, mga bomb talks, mga epic failures. And I love every time that happens, because I learn more from my failures than through my success. So yun yung key, is to really keep on doing what you're doing. And as you work hard, follow your hard work, then you find ways to work smart, and then you find ways to really kumaga, yung passion now starts pursuing you.
Wow. Wow. Okay. That's an amazing concept. It's a mind-blowing concept, and I've only heard it for the first time. Na parang we hear this like, pursue your passion, and no people are, no, pursue your purpose, like that. Pero there's this another path na no, you could actually let your passion pursue you. If you just focus on the hard work, you can cultivate your interest. And I really love what you said, na you'll eventually fall in love with something if you're good at something and you like doing it. So alam mo yun, parang oh nga no, if most of the people in fact, dumating ako sa point na hindi ko naman alam na passion siya until I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed the hard
Mm.
work, the working hard process. So that's an interesting concept, and I hope when people hear this na, okay, it just takes the pressure off. Yung ibang tao kasi sasabihin, oh, hindi ko naman alam na passion siya, talagang kaya minsan nagkakaroon din ng quarter life crisis eh. Kasi parang ano ba yung passion ko sa buhay? Ano ba yung purpose ko? Just takes off a lot of pressure. And thank you so much for sharing that. And so the only question that I have for that sequence, work hard on something. How is it okay that you parang how can you find what's something that you want to work hard on? Parang you have a lot of choices right now. Though even pandemic parang mahirap. How do you get yourself to try the things? Saan ka magsisimula? How do you start with that process of learning what is it that the thing that you want to work hard on?
Hmm. Daming mga principles ngayon na we have to be careful to first understand it because there's a lot of confusion. For example, there's a principle called begin with the end in mind, which was popularized by Stephen Covey. And maganda siya na concept, no, yung begin with the end in mind. However, if you are starting and you begin with the end in mind, you tend to forget what you have right now. And we always have to start with what we have, what's in your hands right now, not thinking of what you do not have or what others have, but begin with what you have. So from there, doon na nagsa-start yan eh. Nagsa-start yan with your abilities, your skills, and then your friends, your contacts. Unti-unti, no, nag-grow siya. So once na you keep on doing what you're doing, and really for a season, find ways to grow your talent, your skills. And then from there, dadating yung mga yung mga opportunities eh. Parang ikaw, Alec, nakakatawa, no? Kasi you mentioned na ang background mo is engineering. And I have a couple of friends na yung ginagawa nila. One in particular, he talks about the stock market. He's one of the most well-known in the stock market space. And he's an engineer. Ang layo ng background. Marami tayong mga makakausap na sobrang layo ng yung course nila from what they are doing now. But you see, dumating na lang siya as they were able to capitalize on what they have and grow it from there. Diba sabi sa Bible, those who have been trusted with little can be trusted with much. So with the small things, the little things that we have, can we be trusted with those things?
That's wonderful. That's really interesting. And I could totally agree that one of the reasons why people don't see any progress or they don't want to try in the first place because they're trying to change the resources that they have. They're wishing and they're praying na sana madagdagan pa yung kung ano yung meron sila before they could start. Like they could have more things before they could start. But if they actually learn to know, you can actually start where you are right now. And it's a matter of you looking at what are the things that you have right now? What are the tools that you have right now? So thank you so much for sharing that. And I'm a huge fan of just personal development. That's why I'm so excited right now. I have so much energy right now. And I haven't read it yet, your book, but it's one of the best selling books here in the Philippines about personal development. And basically it's all about understanding your unique personality. And
Right,
you've
right.
discussed there the different personalities. I saw a video that na parang examples nung apat na major personalities. Can you share us a little bit of the background of those four types and how can people diagnose themselves or figure out na okay, I'm this type of person?
Yeah. My podcast is actually based on that, the Unique podcast. And the four types of people would be, it's based from the disc profiles by William Marston. So I put my twist on it. William Marston created this study in the 1920s, and I customized it, contextualized it for a Filipino setting. So what I used are the animals, eagle, the Philippine eagle, the rooster, the carabao, and the tarsier. And from the disc profiles, it stands for dominant, influential, steady, and corrective. So those are the four types of people. And you see, we are accustomed with the golden rule: do unto others what you want others to do unto you. And that is perfect for virtues like respect, for love. However, when it comes to people, it should be a notch higher, or probably showing a different angle of it, which would be treat others the way they want to be treated. Because the way you want to be treated may not necessarily be the way they want to be treated. That change in paradigm, in perspective, goes a long way, because now you can put yourself in other people's shoes. So, yung apat na personality types, no. Let's start with the dominant eagle. The dominant eagle are people who make things happen, like an eagle who flies. They are those who wants results. They love challenges. They make things happen. And their favorite P word is powerful. Their favorite song, unfortunately, is My Way. Kaya pag nagsalita yan, diretso, walang personalan, trabaho lang. Minsan nakaka-hurt sila ng feelings, and they would rather get the job done than really focusing on the relationship. So that's one thing that they can adjust. So mga dominant eagle examples would be Michael Jordan. If you watch The Last Dance, that's a perfect example
Yeah.
of a high dominant eagle. On the flip side, he also had 6 championships because of that.
Yeah.
So, yun yung pinakauna, no, yung mga dominant eagles. And it's interesting yung unique, kasi even after talking to someone, looking at their faces, you will have an idea what their personality type is.
Mm.
Even if you haven't given them the test, nakakapag-adjust ka ngayon sa kanila. Yun yung dominant. And I think, Alec, mukhang I don't know, no? Maybe you are a little bit or partly dominant eagle. Tama ba?
Yeah. Yes, yes. Parang kanina, I was watching the video of like the 4 types, di ba? Merong mga examples, yung si ganito nagsasalita siya, ganito yung personality niya. Tinatry kong ilagay yung sarili ko doon doon sa tatlo, pero hindi ko ma-imagine. Siguro doon sa Tarsier, pero naisip ko hindi pa rin eh. Like wala talaga, dominant eagle talaga yung kahit feeling ko hindi ako 100%, I wanna be that. I wanna be on this side. Parang ganyan. Ganun. Pero yeah. So before you actually share the other types, I just want to reiterate the one point that you said earlier about understanding these personalities. Like the golden rule is not particularly for how we treat people, because ang ganda lang ng concept na oo nga no, minsan kasi we give this certain ganito natin ina-approach yung tao, ganito natin siya tinatrato. Pero mamaya hindi niya parang love language lang, 'di ba? Hindi pala yun yung best way to approach them, to talk to them or to connect with them. And understanding their personalities can actually help you be more empathetic, and at the same time, okay, now I can cater my actions and my words and my thoughts depende sa personality niya. So I think your book has done an amazing it provided a giant leap towards understanding more of the people's personality, especially here in the Philippines. And it's parang yung mga friends ko rin sinasabi nila na nung nakita ko okay, personality development. No, it's really funny. It's he put it in a nice way that you'll really enjoy reading and talking about it. And I think the characters that you put there made it seem that way. And so yeah, I love how you exampled Michael Jordan as a dominant eagle. So how about the others? How about the other 3 personality types?
Yeah. Kaya ako nasabi yung sa'yo no, na I feel like you're a high dominant. I've listened to a couple of your episodes, and it shows that you're a dominant eagle. Kaya you're in the right place in the personal development space. For the influential roosters, they're the bubbly type. They They love people, and hopefully people love them also because they want the spotlight on them. Ang
Mm.
mga influential roosters, they love adventure. Their middle name is fun. Their favorite P word is popular. They love ideas. They're into innovation, contacts, creativity, network. Ang favorite song naman nila, Don't Worry, Be Happy. Yun naman ang
Mm.
weakness din ng mga influentials kasi they can get distracted by shiny objects. Uy, oh, ang ganda na to. Uy, parang mas maganda to. So, yung nangyayari sa kanila as young influential roosters, they feel, people around them feel that they have the most potential. However,
Mm.
kapag tumanda na sila dahil walang focus, if they're not guided, they would jump from one adventure to the next and not being able to reach their potential because of that. Sila din yung mga forgetful pagdating sa mga details. Yan yung mga nagpa-park sa basement 1, hinahanap yung kotse sa basement 3, yung mga ganong mga tao. And funny, no? Kasi pag nalaman mo yung mga type, even with how we communicate, but more than that, even how we actually handle money, may part pa din na
Mm.
it's personality driven. So ang mga influentials, if you're a high influential, not putting people in a box, but silang pinakahirap pagdating sa pag-handle ng pera. In other words, magastos sila, ostentatious, burgis.
Mm. Mga burgis. Okay. So, ang galing I've never looked at it that way. I know you've been in the create you're managing your finances, you're doing well in the money industry, but for me, a very young kid, I actually just opened my eyes into having this new outlook about money, and I never really realized that it's also personality driven. Na nga no, parang I've heard this na if you want to change your increase your income, you need to have a better philosophy about money as well. So that's great. And parang ang nakakatawa lang din na yung part na they really enjoy ideation, and parang it's kind of similar din sa Strengths Finders book na or
Yeah.
exam na meron kang ngang tendency if you're tendency na
Right.
hindi mo kaya mag-focus kasi parang you're gonna cling on to shiny objects, new things, and ganyan. So yeah, I think all lahat naman ng personality types meron siyang pros and cons, no?
Yes, yes. By the way, I'm also a strengths finder coach. I'm a certified strengths coach. What's
Oh,
your top 5,
wow.
Alex?
Ah, I
Do you
I
remember?
forgot, pero ideation is like the first
It's not.
one. Um
Don't worry, don't
meron
worry. It took me 2 years before I remembered my top 5.
yeah, it's kind of weird kasi si Dennis C din, when we were talking about this, si Pastor Dennis,
Yeah.
parang nabanggit din namin yung Strengths Finder, tapos siya inaral niya daw lahat ng strengths niya. Yung 32 na lahat yon. Sabi ko, ako hindi ko maalala yung lima. Ang naalala ko lang talaga yung ideation. Pero yeah, kaya nga parang naisip ko rin na okay, maybe I could be I am part of that influential rooster, part of a dominant eagle, part 50-50.
Possible.
That's
Possible.
the next question. Is it possible to have like two personality traits or isa lang talaga?
Yeah, it's possible. Yung
Mhm.
meron tayong tinatawag na primary, which is the highest, and then the
Mm.
secondary. And yung pag nagkaroon ka na ng blend, minsan it's good if you have opposite blends. For example, you are a dominant and then
Mhm.
you are a steady, which I would be giving a little background later, no? Pero ang nangyari din, yung opposites na yan, kumbaga deep down, there's this friction kasi you want to
Mhm.
be kind but you want to get things done. So deep inside nagkakaroon ng friction na ano ba yung uunahin ko. So there's an internal turmoil if you're not aware of how to manage the opposite types that you have.
Yeah. Please continue on like this the third personality type. I think you mentioned it like the steady Carabao. Is that it?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just also love, by the way, like how perfect the animals are represented in, in the personality. Really, really perfect. So yeah, go ahead.
Hey, ano yan? It took a while to conceptualize it, no? I've taught this actually outside the country as well, and really proud to be Pinoy. Yung mga popular animals sa atin, the Philippine eagle, and yung mga
Yeah.
ibang nationalities, parang, wow, I'm an eagle. So,
Yeah.
pero yung mga
Really,
characters, di ba?
Philippine.
Yung third is the carabao because that's the national animal of the Philippines,
Mm-hmm.
and it represents stability and hard work, like the steady carabao who takes it one step at a time. They love to listen. They're the best counselors. Tapos sila din ang pinakamagaling. Contrary to popular belief, akala ng tao yung mga mediators. Yung sa hostage situation, iniisip nila the dominant types. Pero pag dominant ang nag-handle yan, get ready to meet your maker. So, ang mga magagaling pagdating sa ganyan cases, yung mga steady carabaos. So they love
Uh-huh.
their favorite keyword is peace, and their favorite song is We Are the World. Kaya nila makisama kahit sino yung kausap nila, anong type, they can blend in. And there is a statistic that 85% of people get fired from jobs not because of incompetence but because of poor poor communication skills, and hindi nila kaya makisama sa mga tao, and an S has an advantage over others in terms of stable employment. Silang pinaka-loyal sa lahat. Weakness would be they do not like confrontation, and also their
Mm-hmm.
weakness is that sila, kumbaga, it's difficult for them to make decisions, especially major decisions. Yun yung mga steady carabaos.
Ooh.
Do you have friends in your circle na feeling mo steady carabao?
Meron nga eh, parang meron ako mga, kasi like before naisip ko na, would it be so interesting if all of us like share some ideas just be like this na very enthusiastic. Gusto lang nasa nasa backstage, parang dito lang kami, chill lang kami dito, like sige kayo na dyan mag-usap sa harapan, tapos dito lang kami sa likod. Parang nisip ko, oo nga, meron talaga mga personality. So may mga pumapasok na ako mga kaibigan, and even like some content creators, that which is kind of weird. So if you think na you're a content creator, you would like to be in the front, or gusto mo nasa iyo ang spotlight palagi. Pero there are a lot of content creators who would post there and just hindi pag nakausap mo na sila, or if you create an like nila, like no, we're just chilling here, like okay, peace lang lang sila. So there are a lot of actually people in my life na ganun din. And yeah, wow, okay. So what's the last personality type? It's the Tarshir, am I right?
Yes, yes. It's the corrective tarsier, the
Mm-hmm.
perfectionists. If they
Mm-hmm.
enter a room, unlike the other types, they would see it from a 3D, 4D. Kung may 5D view pa, no? Ganyan yung nakikita nila. Mahilig sila sa numbers, charts. Kumbaga si influential Rooster, dinudugo na yung ilong pagdating sa details, pero sa kanila, they love details. They can explain to you yung concepts that maybe kumbaga hindi naiintindihan ng maraming mga tao, pero sila, they can explain it to you with gusto, with passion. But their weakness is that they actually they can come off as a bit negative. They are
Mm.
pessimistic
Mm-hmm.
by nature, and also ang mga corrective tarsiers, yung napaparalyze sila because of their analysis. So analysis paralysis. Your favorite keyword is perfect. Favorite song, you are perfect. Yan yung mga corrective tarsiers.
Yeah. So that's a personality that I have seen from a lot of people in my life. And
Oh.
it's something na medyo na ano ako I could remember certain people in my past na hindi ko na kinakausap ngayon, pero they were like that. And kasi nga ako I'm kind of, magkamali tayo, okay lang 'yan. Let's take like the risk. Tara, let's do it. I'm kind of that person, pero sila na they're really into the details. They're making sure na they're just making sure that everything's safe, everything's secure, maayos lahat. They like to plan it out, perfect. They'd like to see perfection. Ako, I'm totally the opposite. Like, I don't really care about perfection. All I want to see is like, kahit na failures, I really love seeing failures. And, because dun din ako mas natututo, just like what you've said. Parang, it's easier kasi para for me, like, it's so easy to see, okay, this is something that I need to improve on. If I could see my mistake, ganyan. So, yeah, that's really amazing. So, thank you so much for sharing your four personality types. And I am sure that,
Funny, Alex. Uh,
yeah.
yeah, you were mentioning about that, no? Kasi I was in a similar situation before. I had a partner who is a high corrective tarsier, and we were running a couple of restaurants back then. So ako, ang gusto ko, maraming food options. Labas natin
Mhm.
to, gawin natin to para mas marami tayong customers. Siya naman, gusto niya yung food perfect. Perfect yung lasa, tapos paglalabas siya, kailangan sa kitchen, yung sequence nila. So hindi ko maintindihan bakit kailangan ganon. And then one time, he actually had a project because he's also a singer. So I was left to run the restaurant. Dun
Mhm.
ko nakita kung ano yung sinasabi niya na kailangan yung sequence ng kitchen. Naintindihan ko siya. Yun yung difference ng dalawa, no? And it's really interesting dahil kung ko-connect mo siya sa Strengths Finder, nakikita mo yung it complements disc, and the
Mhm.
strengths complements each other. Kasi yung, for example, the dominant would view things from a perspective na nakikita niya yung forest. Pero yung corrective naman, nakikita nila yung trees. And just imagine if these two
Mhm.
work together, they would be unstoppable. Kaya yun yung essence na how can we work together and learn from each other so that together we can achieve so much more. But I get what you're saying, there are certain types na talagang opposite natin. And feeling mo, pag nakita mo sila, hindi ka natutuwa. Parang
Parang,
they suck all of the
guy,
joy out of you.
totally different. Parang hindi tayo mag-same. So it's interesting that you mentioned that. And I think that's really important as well. Now, not only we understand people, but we also understand how we could work with them together, how we could be in harmony with them. So I'm going to ask you that question. Assuming that you've seen, okay, sorry, nawala ako. Pero yeah, assuming na you are in a workplace, there's so many personality types. There's so many people with different personalities. How do you work well or mesh yourself with other people? Or what's the best practice so that you could be in harmony with the other personalities?
Yeah. It is a testament of your maturity if you learn how to adjust
Mm.
to the different types. I remember a couple of years ago, I did a talk for a multinational, and their head was there. He's British. And I discussed the four types. And then after my talk, he approached me and told me, Jayson, I used to be a high dominant. And us, we're very dominant in our country. We don't really care about feelings that much.
Mm-hmm.
I realized when I was assigned in Asia that Asians are more sensitive. You have to be careful with your words, with your actions.
Yeah.
And apparently there are other nationalities, Asians, that are more sensitive than Pinoys. Di ba ganyan tayo eh. Pag nasa workforce tayo, we don't really say what we think. We're very careful with our words. We do not want to hurt other people's feelings. So instead of doing the right thing, we want to be a good guy. Kaya yung pinaka-importanting quality, and I love that about him because he looked like, strangely enough, he looked like a steady Carabao. Sabi ko, you're a dominant. Yes, I am a high dominant. But all throughout my talk, he was just listening to me. Uh, didn't hindi siya na gano'n, hindi niya sinare yung opinion niya. Nakinig lang siya. So, yung importante, no, we use the AAA model, which is to be aware of who we are, aware of who others are. And that's part of what I teach people, how to read others like a book. So that the next A would be to accept them, accept yourself, both strengths and weaknesses, because we do have weaknesses. Again,
Mm-hmm.
contrary to popular belief, they would say that kumbaga, you have limitless potential. But actually, we only get to achieve our potential if we know our limits. Di ba? So, pag alam mo hindi ka magaling dyan, mag-focus ka kung saan ka magaling. And dun mo ma-reach yung potential mo. And then yung pangatlo would be to adapt. Adapt based on three things. The first would be the people around you, the situation, and then the event. So yung tatlong bagay, no? The AAA model, aware, accept, and adapt.
Thank you so much for sharing that. That was really beautiful. And if you're listening right now, this is you're getting a free masterclass here. So I hope you really take in the things that we're talking about. And I hope that we could have, more talks like this. I am such I really love the topics that we're talking about. But I have a few more questions before we actually end this episode right here. I want to ask your opinion on focus because I think, especially in today's era, that's the number one problem that we have. We
Hmm.
don't know how to focus. So, how are you able to focus in the things or the tasks that you need to do? And are there any tips that you could give to the listeners out here?
It's a coincidence. My third talent in strengths would be focus. And
Hmm.
focus is crucial, especially in an age where I think in years ago, buong lifetime na nila, no, yung distractions that we get in one day. Yun yung difference from the ads, from all these, for example, advice that you get online. So one would say something that's totally different from another. Kanino ako makikinig, di ba? Saan ako kukuha ng advice? Ano yung pwede kong ano yung dapat kong gawin? So yung focus, no. I have a mastermind group in speaking. And I would tell them that, guys, you have to have an information diet right now because not everything that you would hear, you would pick up would be good for you. So mas maganda
Mm.
mamili lang tayo kung alin talaga. Uh, Maganda yung mga instruments like disc, yung strengths, kasi you get to find out what you are good at. And contrary to popular belief, I kept on saying that, no. I think this is the third time I said that. Kasi, di ba yung school system,
Mhm.
it teaches us how to be well-rounded. Eh. And yan din yung turo ng mga companies, na ginagawa tayong well-rounded. So, ang grades mo sa school, kailangan pasado lahat or 90s lahat. Pag umuwi ka, may bagsak ka na grade, 1 red mark. Galit yung parents mo, papagalitan ka dahil dun sa bagsak. So, ang mga companies, kailangan hindi tayo well-rounded. Kasi companies are not looking for well-rounded individuals. Companies are looking for well-rounded teams. Kaya nga tayo team na binuo tayo as individuals and part of one group so that we can maximize our strengths. So that's the first part pagdating sa focus, no. With our hard work, we can find out what we are good at, and from there we get exposed and look for situations wherein we grow those abilities, those skills, yung mga bagay na kung saan tayo magaling. Pero dadating din yung mga point na kailangan mag-adjust tayo. In other words, may mga bagay na we need to accomplish, and based on what we are good at, we can accomplish it using different behaviors. So for example, may isang dominant. The way he motivates people would be in this manner. Diba? Strong, forceful, let's do it, let's make things happen. Yung steady naman needs to motivate people also, pero ang gagawin naman nila to do it their way, which is amicable, which is understanding where people are at, being empathetic. So they get to achieve the same goal, but using different manners, different ways, which would be based on who they are. So, kung meron akong mai-advise pagdating sa focus, no, I think one of the best advice would be not to compare yourself to others. Kasi dalawa lang yan, yayabang ka or may insecure kapag sila yung mas magaling sa'yo. Pag mas magaling ka naman sa kanila, yayabang ka. So you just have to compare yourself with yourself. And from there, just find ways to grow what you have and start with what you have. And then from there, things will just fall into place.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's not magic that things will fall into place, but making the smallest decision that you can make right now with what you have, with who you are, can help you put yourself in a better position 1 year, 6 years from now. And I love that. I love the concept of you not comparing yourself to other people, and you're just basically focusing. And I also love your point about the information diet. Like, we totally need that. Like, with every, in the downside with we have the access to any type of information is that we have access to any type of information, even the wrong ones, even the ones that that doesn't serve us any good. So let's all practice that, okay? Information diet, everyone, and focus on yourself. Focus on what you are, by finding out, the strength, your strengths. Get the be find your get the book Strengths Finder, or read the book The Unique Life, so you can know what type of personality you have. I'm sure it's available everywhere. But before we end this, I want to talk about your podcast real quick. Your podcast is The Unique Life. So what is the concept and what is the mission of your podcast?
Yeah, and I'll be inviting you soon, Alec.
Oh, it would be my honor. Thank you so much. Yes, yes, please invite me there. Yeah.
Well, the unique life is the concept is unboxing life. So we talk about different topics and how we would unbox that certain aspect that can help us in terms of, kasi di ba mahilig tayo sa unboxing gadgets, shoes, toys. May isa akong friend na yan ang ginagawa niya, unboxing stuff. Sabi niya, ako, nasasawa na ako sa pag-unbox. Alam mo, kung ito lang yung gagawin ko, mayaman na ako. Kumbaga, I just do this, yayaman ako. Pero this is not what I want to do. I want to help build content, help content creators, and yung gumawa ng ibang content. So, yung unboxing, no, yun yung pinaka-concept niya. And it's anchored based on our personality type. Kaya the Unique Life podcast. So, it's really having understanding that each of us, we are unique. And each of us, the beauty would be discovering our purpose in life and the meaning of life. And the meaning of life is really the meaning we give it. Kaya yun ang yun ang importante na maintindihan natin about how we can live life to the fullest. And hopefully, as you get to listen to more episodes, the listeners would understand and really discover what their purpose in life is.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for that. And thank you so much for your podcast. You are helping a lot of people unbox their, yung mga nakasanayan na and na mga ideas and concept. And at the same time, just having more positive and positive content that really helps people discover more about themselves. It's just a good sight to see. So we need more of these kinds of content. So I hope that we continue to create these types of content and build this amazing space and community that we have. So thank you again for coming here. Before I let you go, I have this small segment here on Small Talk. It's called Five Questions. So this is five questions with Jayson Law. I am going to ask you one question, and you need to answer with either one word or one phrase or one sentence without any explanation. So it's kind of like fast talk pero wholesome naman siya. Okay,
Cool. Let's go.
you ready? Okay. So my first question is, what is happiness?
Happiness is a byproduct of a godly life. Knowing God is the only way you can be happy.
I love that. I love that so much. That's by far the best answer that I got here. Thank you so much for that. Second question, what is success?
Success is a journey,
Mm,
focusing not on the result, but focusing on the process.
thank you. Thank you so much for that. Third question, what is the best advice you have ever received?
Best advice would be to put God first in everything. Ito
Mhm,
funny lang, no? Kasi meron akong gustong i-start na business before.
mhm.
Tapos, I kept calling this pastor. Tapos, on the fifth time na tinawagan ko siya, siguro in a span of 1 month, to get advice. So, napuno na siya sa akin. In a good way naman. Sabi niya, Jayson, alam mo, kaya nga ako nagpastor. Kaya nga ako naging negosyante. Hindi ko alam yan. Pero ito na lang sasabihin ko sa'yo. Pag walang peace, don't do it. Pero pag may peace, kahit na it's difficult, you know it's gonna be hard, go for it. So I guess that's one of the best advice I got. Parang if you need to make a decision, kailangan may peace ka. Tapos put God first in everything.
I love that so much. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. Now, the fourth question is, what is the worst advice you have ever received?
By the way, yung podcast ko pala, kaya gano'n, no? Dahil din sa mga kapalpakan ko, ang dami,
Mhm.
even in business. And that's the worst advice that I got is, kung ang business mo, nandito, kailangan ng utang mo nandito din. Walang negosyo na walang utang. Yeah, that's the worst advice I got. And that's one reason why I went bankrupt eventually.
Mm. So I'm already going to book you because I feel like we left a lot of things that could be very valuable to the listeners. We haven't even gotten to the finances, content creation, speaking, building confidence. We have a lot of things to talk about. So hopefully I could get you back here on Small Talk, and I'm sure a lot of people who would listen to this episode would also want you to be on the show back for another episode. So please, the next time, I hope you still accept my
Yeah.
invitation.
We're happy to be
So
here.
yes.
An
So
honor.
yeah. My last question is, what is the legacy that you would want to leave in this world?
The legacy would be my purpose in life is to be able to help people bring out their greatest unique self through my speaking, writing, and coaching. And that would be the legacy for me. Since I'm a speaker, is to build the next generation speakers. So I guess there's a lot that I can think of, but that's one legacy that I feel would be very important to me, because I didn't start out with people believing in me. So I wanna change that. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Pinapahirapan
Thank
mo ako,
you.
lalalim ng mga question mo eh.
Gusto ko yung nasa dulo na doon pa lumabas lahat ng juices. Pero yes, I am sure that you are inspiring a lot of aspiring and on the way motivational speakers just like me. I really do want to connect and try to learn as much as I can from you. You really inspired me tonight, so thank you for all your insights, your stories. I am very grateful for you, Mr. Jayson, for being here on the show, and I am excited for more future collaborations just like this one. And so if people like this episode, if people resonated with all the things that we said, where can they find you online? Go plug your social media accounts.
Yeah, please follow me in my podcast, The Unique Life podcast. And I'm on social media, quite active in Facebook. So you can follow me at Jayson Law. That's JAYSONLO. And IG, you can also visit my website, jasonlaw.com.
Yes, if you like my podcast, guys, go ahead and listen to the Unique Life podcast. As much as we can, we get these information. It's free. It's free concept and ideas that could potentially change your lives for the better. So go check out Mr. Jason's Laws podcast. It's also under Podcast Network Asia. And yeah, go check it out. The Unique Life podcast. And so again, thank you so much. I really enjoyed this talk. And guys, if you like this episode, go ahead and share this on Instagram. Do not forget to tag us at Jason Law and at Small Talk Podcast or at Alec Cuenca. And if you are listening on Spotify, please leave this podcast a follow. Or if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, go ahead and leave this podcast a rating and review, because you guys are the reason why this show is growing at this rate. So thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for showing up. My name is Alec Cuenca. This is Small Talk, Small Conversations with huge impact. And I will talk to you guys next episode. Bye bye. Yay!